Action and the razzmatazz.
The sun was shining for the Oilers' first game of the season, and the team set about their final pre-match preparation with enthusiasm, to say the least. Their opponents, the Lothian Chieftains, however, also had a vigorous warm-up routine, which left some spectators wondering whether this was going to be a sport or just survival of the fittest. But either way, it wasn't going to be a problem for the Oilers, who've been training 4 or 5 nights a week in preparation for the season. And while head coach Ralph Shirley wasn't making any rash predictions, you could tell he was quietly confident.
You never know. A team like the Lothian Chieftains, who've played several good games. I watched them play Edinburgh. They're capable of playing excellent defense. At times they can play good offense. It really depends on whether the heat and our numbers can wear them down, and whether we can keep our injuries to a minimum. But if we do, I think we have a fair chance of winning.
Well, the match started and the Oilers had to soak up a lot of initial pressure, but it was the home side who eventually got possession and broke the deadlock after about 25 minutes. They added the extra point with a kick, while the crowd were treated to the first musical celebration of the afternoon. Unfortunately, while the Oilers were still contemplating the score, the Chieftains struck back straight away with a 70-yard run to break their duck and put the pressure back on the Aberdeen side. But after a few no-doubt choice words from the coaching staff, the Oilers began to settle more into their rhythm and scored again to end the first quarter 13-6 in front. By half-time, they'd increased that lead to 27-9, no doubt inspired by the crowd, as well as their lovely cheerleaders, the Baby Oilers, who incidentally also have to train 2 days a week to keep in shape. But while the match was going well and the sun was still shining, we decided to find out what it was that had attracted a crowd of about 1,500 along for the afternoon. Was it the sport or was it the weather?
Well, I think it's really good. I think the Aberdeen Football Club is excellent. Really good team. Well coached.
Would you have come along and watched them if it hadn't been such a nice day?
Oh, I think so. I'm a fan of the game and fan of the Aberdeen Sports Club, so definitely would, yeah.
It's good.
You're enjoying it?
Yeah.
Would you have come along if it hadn't been such a nice day?
No.
What attracted you to come along to the game today?
The honky man. Well, we've been to every game so far. My husband likes to come and see it. So we're American, so we enjoy the game.
Would you have come if it hadn't been such a nice day, though?
Oh, yeah. We've been here when the weather wasn't as nice as this.
Well, it seems to encourage the families, you know, so it must be a good thing.
Well, obviously a bit of a mixture there, but Coach Shirley reckons it's up to the team to keep the crowds coming.
If we play good football and we have winning results, I don't see any reason not to, especially on a day like today.
You don't think they'd all come if the weather wasn't so good, then?
A lot of us would probably have second thoughts about being here if the weather was bad.
Ever so slightly tongue-in-cheek there. The halftime entertainment, incidentally, was provided courtesy of the local Gunslingers Association. But with the Cowboys finally out of the way, the Chieftains tried to claw their way back into the game, but to no avail. By this time, the Oilers' tails were up, and it became a case of how many they'd win by. In the end, the answer was a barrelful. Although some of the crowd had drifted away as the weather got colder, those that stuck it out witnessed the Aberdeen side run in 7 touchdowns and 3 conversions to win 45-9, and make the Chieftains' defensive coach tip the Granite City men to beat the Edinburgh Eagles next week in their first Premier League match.
Well, if your team can keep its composure, certainly it's got a slick backfield, and I think you'll do well against them.
A big boost there for the Oilers' confidence, but how did their coach feel after the game?
Happy with the score. The execution wasn't quite as good as we expected, but first game jitters. We'll accept what we got.
Now, I just had a chat with the Chieftains defensive coach, and he reckons you've just got the edge on the Eagles for next week. How do you feel about that?
Come out next week and we'll let you know. Now, football's a strange sport. You can have a better team and lose. The opposite of that is a bad team can win. And the Eagles and us are pretty well matched. They have a pretty big defensive unit. Their offense isn't quite as big. I think if we have an advantage, that's our advantage. Our defensive unit is big and it's quick, and our offensive line is large, and we can open the holes. If we have a weakness, it's the number of backs that we have. We just don't have a lot of running backs, and if we get injuries, we're hurting. And it'll be very interesting to see how these guys recover.
Well, what happens next week remains to be seen, but if the weather's nice again, the Oilers will be hoping to provide an even slicker performance and establish themselves firmly as a sporting force that's here to stay.
Pete Morris reporting then. That's it.